This is what I get for trusting Konami's website. No one's ever gonna let this one go. Even after my channel dies and it falls into obscurity and I'm never heard from again, people will still message me, "Do you know that anti-magic arrows was in Duel Links?" Yes, I'm very well aware, thank you. Welcome to part 1 of Everything Wrong with Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 3. This one will be only covering the Kaiba family arc. Now, before making this video, I hadn't watched it since the original air date, and from what I can tell, that no one likes this arc, and I completely understand why, because it's fucking garbage. I'm gonna try to not mention when cards don't exist for the most part, unless it absolutely demands it, like the characters get some sort of really bullshit unfair advantage, because that's what I was going for in the original 3 episodes that I've done so far, but granted, I did a really poor job of explaining that, so people came off as this is just filling time, which it pretty much was from that standpoint. Now in this scene, you can clearly tell that 4Kids is reusing frames to fit Kaiba's monologue, since it's a flat shot with nothing moving around except for his mouth. Dubbing studios use this trick a lot, especially people who make abridged series on YouTube, like Team 4-Star. The trick is to take one frame where their mouth is open, one frame where their mouth is half closed, and then one frame where their mouth is fully closed. So then you can keep splicing them in together to create the illusion of mouth movement, to fit whatever kind of dialogue your character needs. I'm really shocked that 4Kids left in the whole making machines of war plot point, but I guess that'd be too much for them to actually edit out.
Our situation is worsening! We're losing altitude rapidly!
Did the audio director make these people do these really silly voices to make them sound tough for kids? Could they not have just got deep voice people? I bet there are plenty of desperate voice actors out there who have a deep voice who'd be willing to do a guard for this. He looks like someone's OC from their fan fiction. James, the long-lost Prince of all Saiyans, brother to Vegeta, the most badass character ever. He is way stronger and way cooler than Vegeta ever was, and everyone just can't resist loving him.
Your decision?
If they were gonna change and edit anything, I should have expected this.
Gansley, Rump,
We'll build a great wall.
Johnson, Nesbitt, and Lecter.
I'm not sure if the English names for the big 5 were supposed to be business tycoon references, but we're just gonna go ahead and assume they are. This whole arc honestly could have been avoided if Kaiba just fired them originally in Season 1.
But if we defeat you in Noah's virtual arena, then we'll return to the real world in your body.
How exactly is beating them in a duel supposed to allow you to body snatch them? I don't get why Tay is getting so freaked out over hologram Kaiba. They're completely aware they're in a computer.
Time for us to demonstrate the new dueling rules.
Oh boy, we get new rules. You know what that means? More bullshit. The Deckmaster idea was a pretty cool concept. It kind of reminds me of how your Pokemon follows you around Heart Gold and Soul Silver, if only they actually pulled this off well. It does seem pretty OP that they can just summon their Deckmaster whenever they want. What if they just made the God cards their Deckmaster? Does that just allow them to skip their whole summoning requirements?
It has its own special ability.
Well, this is clearly going to foreshadow everything that's going to have a new ass pole with a special ability.
Never broken a promise to you.
Except when you didn't show up to the hospital. How exactly are they getting put into this machine? The room is basically just a hologram projection. How is it creating holes that they're falling into, getting sucked into the virtual world? I guess I'm just going to have to accept the fact that they're going to have a lot of dumb science bullshit that doesn't make any sense, because the writers didn't feel like explaining it.
Your cards aren't valid in this world.
Why isn't Yugi's deck valid? Why would he have to make a new one? Is this because the show is technically just a 22-minute ad for the card game? But that doesn't really make sense, because other than like a few minor changes, the deck is essentially the same thing as he had in Battle City. Hey bitch, don't disrespect Karibo like that. I guess the gang is the only thing that's keeping Joey sane. So the first idiot of the big 5 is the business strategist. So as a metaphor for destroying other businesses and taking whatever they please because they have money, he just rips all the cards out of Yugi's hand and forces him to send it to the graveyard. Pretty original, isn't it? We're so smart and witty. How did the axe make that X mark on the wall? And if it wasn't him, then what made it? Because it wasn't in the previous shot, as you can see right here. For some reason in the dub, they made it so Yugi couldn't understand Karibo, but in the Japanese version, he can.
You'll never make it in the dueling business, kid.
But he did beat Pegasus, who was cheating and using dark Egyptian magic. Also the evil Egyptian god card. I think he might be a little qualified if you ask me. So this was before Kaiba was completely dead inside. Wow.
Software that interacts with a person's memory.
How does this virtual software tap into your memories?
Remove, Moki.
Do you think Kaiba created the Moki Moki card after Mokuba because he used to call him Moki when they were kids?
Look, I don't want any of these brats touching me.
It must be pretty hard to maintain the lie that Gozubor is such a nice, charitable guy when he acts like a piece of shit in public all the time. Oh look, they censored the face of the zombie on premature burial. Well, he can only run at max 3 Ruklamba, so you just gotta go over the next one and then you're set. I like to imagine a world where Tristan landed on one of the horn blades. Did I miss something? How did he summon the Wall of Illusion during Yugi's turn? It doesn't have any effect that allows him to, unlike Ruklamba, and he didn't take any damage, so he couldn't summon another one of those either. Oh, come on! They weren't even trying to make that look like a card! The Rock was actually supposed to cut Teia's face, but 4Kids edited it out. That's why they keep cutting back to this in later episodes, and it doesn't really make any sense why they put so much emphasis on her cheek. Time for Plot Armor. So, did Yugi just know that Kaiba would have saved him? Why would he have swapped out with Yami to save him from the blast and just fucking die? What would have happened? Yami is the spirit, he can't just die again. Yugi's just killing himself for no reason. For those who are telling me that I'm over-exaggerating the plot armor, did none of you remember when Kaiba turned to a rainbow and then made a bridge that Gaia climbed over so he could attack Gansley directly and win the duel? Just jump, bitch, no one will miss you. How is a penguin exactly holding these cards?
I'm more than 90% sure it's a trap.
Wow, a face-down card being a trap. Only a genius could have ever predicted that one out, Crump.
Hurry up, Big Breath, it's freezing!
How come she never mentioned how cold she was until the duel started? She rode here on a raft through the Antarctic. If Dark Magician Girl didn't intervene, Teiya would have just lost right here. The face-down card she destroyed was originally Gust in the Japanese version, but in the dub they changed it to Mirror Wall.
That good-for-nothing punk shut down my dream!
Why the fuck would you ever think a CEO of a card game company would want to listen to your idea of opening a zoo of an all-penguin theme? If you wanted to climb the corporate ladder to do this, I think you joined the wrong company. Those have to be the fakest looking cards I've seen in this show in a while. Magic Formula can only be equipped to Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl.
Here goes! I summon Gazelle!
Yugi isn't actually looking at his cards. How did he know it was going to be Gazelle? Is he stacking his deck? If Yugi can just draw cards with no limit while going through this hallway, why didn't he just search out Heavy Storm out of his deck earlier, or whatever he needed to get through these trials instead of wasting all this time trying to get to Teiya? If he really wanted to, why not just summon Gaia and ride him through the hallways since you're having such a hard time running through them all with your short ass legs? Why doesn't Yugi just summon a monster to destroy the ice? Surely he has something in his deck that can do that.
I must first invoke my Deckmaster special ability to call upon every monster in your graveyard, Teiya.
I thought her Deckmaster ability was able to communicate with Teiya. Just how many does she have? So apparently the Sage's Stone is allowing Teiya to summon Dark Magician from Yugi's deck. If he wasn't nearby, what would have happened? Would it just magically been sucked out of his deck during the middle of his duel or off his field onto hers? Guess they're fully committing to having Flame Swordsman as a normal monster now. Is this supposed to be some sort of metaphor of giving an idiot a huge amount of money to just blow it all in stupid shit without realizing the consequences? Well, here's the first example of really bullshit made up cards for a specific duel. This gives Johnson such an unfair advantage to keep fueling his Deckmaster's ability infinitely.
If it wasn't for that trap card...
Joey just called Sinister Justice a trap card, yet you could clearly see it's a spell card. Did no one at 4Kids catch this when they were recording audio? How the fuck is Johnson changing the dice roll?
I play my Pot of Greed card. Now, I'm able to draw 2 new cards.
Here we go again.
You don't deserve that prize, Johnson. Not after what you just pulled.
So, he is a cheater.
Holy shit, Noah actually stepped in and called out his subordinate for cheating? I'm genuinely fucking surprised this is happening. While it's nice and all that Noah is calling them out on their bullshit, if you're going to these lengths to win and beat Kaiba, then why are you letting something as stupid as pride stop you? Just let win and take Kaiba Corp.
I'm willing to forgive Judge Gruesome, as long as he agrees to duel fair and square.
Now Joey's being stupid. Just take the win. Why put your body in the line for something as meaningless as this?
Hey, what makes you think I don't know how my own magic card works?
Yes, Joey, you have shown multiple times that you have no idea how your deck works, let alone the whole game itself. So what would happen if Joey didn't draw a monster from Arduous Decision? Granted, he is probably the most likely to draw a monster considering his deck is about 90% monsters. If this is supposed to be a lab that makes military weapons, do you think it's a really good idea to just blow it up?
Cyber Commander, go! Don't be a fool, Tristan! I gotta save her!
Tristan can't just redirect an attack at him. When Duke chooses Strike Ninja as his deckmaster, it shows that it's a level 5 monster with 2,350 attack and 2,200 defense, but in the actual game it's level 4 with 1,700 attack and 1,200 defense. While I was fact checking to see if Short Circuit was a real card or not, I found all these alternate arts where the clock arms were in different positions.
Monster special ability allows me to play this card face down!
So how does everyone seemingly know what their own deckmaster ability is right away? Even the people who don't even know how to duel know it. It took Yugi 3 whole episodes of him almost losing until Kaiba intervened by itself and activated it to save him. Why is the person that's supposed to be the best duelist in the game seem to know the least about it? Oh man, you know the execs of 4Kids wanted to censor the fuck out of this scene, but they couldn't figure out how to without massive edits and redrawing of scenes.
I'm changing this card game into a dice game!
Guess you can't have a Duke Devlin duel without shoehorned in dice related cards. Do you think he gave Pegasus the good suck to get some dungeon dice cards in the game?
Are you making these regulations up as you go?
Even Nesbit is skeptical about this dice bullshit. Where do they keep getting the art for all these made up cards? They're getting worse and worse as the show is going on.
There's no logic to this dice game at all!
Is this an attempt of self-awareness from the show by calling out the randomness of this dice bullshit?
I know you mere mortals couldn't stand up to the power of a high-tech machine like me.
But you're just a person inside a computer. Is he LARPing right now, or does he honestly believe he's a robot? Maybe he's had too much time in this virtual world.
I spent months developing cutting-edge gaming software for Seto Kaiba, and I hated every second of it.
If you hated Kaiba so much, why not just quit and work for another military development company? I find it hard to believe that old Kaiba Corp was the only weapons R&D company in the world.
I have the ability to combine 2 or more of your monsters together without the need for a polymerization card.
It sure is awfully convenient your deckmaster just happens to be able to do that.
Tristan still has a card face down on the field!
Why are Tristan's cards still on the field when he's already lost and out of the duel?
No! They made a monkey out of me!
I feel that it's a huge missed opportunity to have Joey as the monkey. That would have been a lot funnier. He just bent the shit out of his one Blue Eyes card.
Wait a sec! You're not Tristan, you phony!
What gave it away? The fact that he sounds completely different? This must be like the 5th or 6th time that Mokuba's been taken. How the fuck are you gonna have a card that just blinds one of the players?
Looks like you've attacked your own monster!
You also just can't attack your own monsters.
No one else can ever have more cards than you as long as you own 51 out of 100. If you can do that, you'll control the company.
Oh wow, an actual lesson in business.
Why should I buy the company back at 10 times the price?
Because if you don't, I'll shut this place down, leaving all your employees jobless.
What would have happened if they just said no? How does Joey know how to drive? They're still freshmen in high school. Oh my fucking god, that looks like garbage.
My satellite cannon is virtually unreachable!
It can't be beat!
Why does he have to be able to reach the satellite in the sky in order to attack it? Could he not just hit the gauge on the ground? Also, you can destroy it with any monster above level 7 as it's stated in the Japanese version, but for some reason they changed it in the dub.
Most horrible day of my life.
What about all the times that you were kidnapped and locked in Pegasus's creepy sex dungeon?
So you used Mokuba as a pawn!
Why would Kaiba go through this whole convoluted scheme? He could just ask Mokuba for the 2%. Come on, Mokuba, you're not that fucking stupid.
You see, guys, Lecter has to give up his life points to activate his best cards.
Wow, thanks for explaining this, Yugi. It's not like they've been saying this the whole entire duel.
Awesome! Now I understand Kaiba's game plan!
You're only understanding now, Duke? They've only been explaining every single move they make this entire duel. How could you not be following this?
I'm coming, Mokuba!
I guess in virtual space, the laws of gravity don't apply, and you don't need air.
Honestly believe your brother is coming to rescue you.
Of course he's going to come get you. If he really wanted to abandon you, he would have just left you in Pegasus's creepy sex dungeon in season 1.
Get a life!
Was that supposed to be directed at me? How did Mokuba fall for this? You could literally see Kaiba still on the screen in front of you. If Noah could brainwash people, why not just do that to begin with? Does no one else find it really weird that Monkey Tristan is rubbing his face in Serenity's chest?
For all we know, you're Noah's pet baboon!
Why not just have Monkey Tristan say something only the real Tristan would know?
You just stood there and watched while they took me away, Seto!
But you were taken by someone driving a motorcycle. What was he supposed to do there? How come after Mokuba displays that he has complete faith in Seto, one scene later he's like, ah, fuck it, Seto's evil, and completely succumbs to the brainwashing? Why does Noah even need Mokuba on his side in the first place? All he wants to do is prove that he's the true successor to Kaiba Corp. Why not just duel him? If you wanted to steal all their bodies, why not just brainwash them to begin with and skip this whole fucking hassle?
I am Gozaburo's one true son.
If he's Gozubora's true son, then why does he look like a palette swap of Kaiba?
Come on, Yug. That's the oldest trick in the duel book. There's too much at stake here to try a lame move like that, Yug.
Yami, are you just gonna be talked down to by a retard like Joey? I guess when the dragon gains attack, it gets this nice little monocle.
It's Jinzo! My trap cards are useless!
How did you forget his deck master was Jinzo? You just saw his duel 30 minutes ago.
Looks like she's only got 400 attack points, Lecter.
Did he also forget Injection Fairy Lily, which was also in the last duel? You can only activate Sebek's blessing when you attack directly, but Jinzo stops all traps. He can't just have his be not negated. Five-headed dragon is not a ritual monster. We've even seen it as a fusion the last time they were in the digital world.
Well, the good news is Lecter's dragon can't attack until his next turn.
But I thought the forced attack restriction only applies to fusion monsters, but in the context of the episode, it's a ritual monster, so what the fuck is going on?
My dragon destroys every one of your magic, trap, and monster cards as soon as it's summoned.
Five-headed dragon doesn't destroy everything on the field when it's summoned. They even referenced the last time they fought it, so it's not like they forgot. So where are these new effects coming from? I guess they could just play hot potato with who their deck master is.
But you should still lose, cause your deck master's gone.
I could say the same thing for you too, Joey.
Mirage Knight only stays in play for one attack, Joey. Then it splits into the two original monsters that were used to summon it.
Mirage Knight doesn't split back into the material used, it just banishes itself on end phase. I guess they had to change it because they would have automatically lost then.
Now I get it!
Was that really so hard to figure out, Taya? Did they run out of budget for the animation, so they just made a slideshow with a grain filter over to make it seem like there's some sort of motion? I love how Flame Swordsman's face embodies how I feel about this whole entire arc so far. When Joey and Yugi were first making their new decks after being sucked into the virtual world, did they just put a bunch of cards in their deck expecting that they were going to be put into a tag duel together? If not, then why did they put all these fusion cards in their deck they can't make on their own? Like, did Joey just put Knight's title in his deck to fill up space? In the Japanese version, Noah just deletes the big five after they fail him for the last time.
Everyone knows it's you trapped in there, dude.
Did I miss a scene where they start believing Tristan now after they wouldn't before and they tied him up? It's awfully convenient that Tristan just happened to be put into the device that can move the plot forward.
This is real life, Joey!
Except that everyone is completely aware that they're in a virtual world and this isn't real at all. Come on, even Kaiba's getting predictable. Every match he just tries to crush card virus. His name is Noah, and his deck master is an Arc. He washed away all of the monsters on the field and in their hands with a giant tidal wave, and stores all the monsters in his Arc. I understand why some of you might not get it. You have to have a very high IQ to understand Yu-Gi-Oh! The humor is very extremely subtle. Without a solid grasp of theoretical dueling, most of the jokes will go typically right over viewers' heads. There's also Kaiba's nihilistic outlook, which is deftly woven into his characterization. His personal philosophy heavily draws from Patrick Hoban literature, for instance. The fans understand this. They have to have the intellectual capacity to truly appreciate the depths of these jokes, to realize they're not just funny, they say something deep about life and dueling. As a consequence, people who dislike Yu-Gi-Oh! Truly are idiots. Of course, they wouldn't appreciate, for instance, the humor in Seto's existential catchphrase, "Draw your last pathetic card so I can end," which is a cryptic reference to Doug Zeef's articles, which you can find on TCGplayer.com. I'm smirking right now just imagining one of those addle-pated simpletons scratching their heads in confusion as 4Kids' genius wit unfolds itself on their television screens. What fools, how I pity them, crying emoji. And yes, by the way, I do have a Yu-Gi-Oh! Tattoo, and no, you cannot see it, it's for the ladies' eyes. Oh, I can't even keep this shitty joke going anymore. God, I hate my life.
Because now you realize that I'm more intelligent than you.
I just keep making up bullshit that keeps giving me advantages like my deck master. Apparently 4Kids added the red glow to Mokuba's eyes to signify that he was brainwashed. I guess they thought we were too stupid to realize this on our own. Can you stop insulting my intelligence, 4Kids?
Need to summon the most powerful beast of the Ice Age, Seto.
The most powerful beast of the Ice Age, it only has 800 attack.
Oh man! That's nuts!
Guys, seriously, it only has 800 attack. It's not that special. What happened to the whole I must prove that I am better than Seto in order to take back what's rightfully mine? Why are you throwing that out now and just saying, fuck it, I'm holding Mokuba hostage until I get what I want?
You're so quick to give in to your competition.
You currently have Kaiba's only kryptonite. If it wasn't for that, he would have blasted your ass to Windows 10.
Look inside your heart and you'll remember him!
Why is it Yugi's voice the only one that's getting through to Mokuba? Is it because it's high pitched and annoying? Just kidding, Dan Green, I love you. Kaiba's cards were on the ground in the last shot.
He duels with honor and respect.
Except when he threatens to kill himself when he was dueling you in Duelist Kingdom, or how he talks down to everyone he ever duels. Yeah, such an honorable player that plays with such respect. You can really tell how much the animators hate this arc because the animation quality is dipping through the fucking floor. So then it's revealed that they're actually just in the computer chairs from last time they were in the virtual world. What did no one the Big Five exactly gain from making them think that they were sucked into this virtual world the whole time?
He still lacks one major thing, a body.
We just saw in the flashback that you have giant robot. That means you have the technology, so why not just make Noah a new robot body? I guess that'd make too much sense for them.
Oh, but Alex, you have to understand, they're a small indie company. You couldn't expect them to have that much resources to do this.
I digitize my own mind, retreating to cyberspace to plot my revenge.
Why does Gozubora exactly need to retreat to the digital world to plan his revenge?
Every virtual reality program has more than one emergency exit system.
Why would you ever assume that every virtual reality world has more than one exit? I'm guessing someone didn't watch Sword Art Online. Just drop a kaiju on that bitch, problem solved.
What? How could you betray me? And after everything that I've done for you?
Yeah, like when I abandoned you in this glitchy virtual world and had no one to accompany you, then manipulated you into getting my petty revenge and calling you a failure multiple times.
I don't have a body of my own!
But what happened to yours though? The show keeps cutting back to you in a pod, so you clearly still have it in some way, shape, or form. Were you in some sort of accident that 4Kids just cut out? Just how like your plan to digitize the world is actually just to bomb it in the Japanese version?
Even though Exodia Necros can't be sent to the graveyard, if I attack it with a more powerful monster, you still lose life points.
So get to the point, Seto!
But that is the point, is that he can kill you without destroying your monster.
Never rely on the power of a single monster to win a duel.
Isn't that what you did the whole time in Season 2 with Obelisk? Why not just use Monster Reborn to take out one of the pieces that's stopping you from destroying it either by card effect or battle? If we're going by the original text, you can still do this with Monster Reborn. So did Gozubora find a way to upload himself into this fire? Well, it looks like we finally made it through this train wreck of an arc. If you've made it this far, I want to personally thank you for sitting through this. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing for more updates, like part 2 of Everything Wrong with Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 3, where we'll be completing the finals of Battle City's tournament and pursuing Merrick to stop him from collecting all the God cards. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, and keep your eye out for when I occasionally stream on YouTube or Twitch, like I did with editing this episode. Until next time, guys, peace.